We're going to take a look at KCD version 23 and how to sort our parts onto different size material. An example here is an example file that uses three different types of material. We have 3/4 inch melamine, 1/2 inch plywood, and 1/4 inch plywood for the backs. The melamine that I'm getting is in 5x8 sheets. The 1/4 inch plywood for the backs I am getting in 4x8 sheets, and then the 1/2 inch plywood I get in 5x5 sheets. So we need to be able to nest across those different types of materials. To see the different materials that are used, we're going to use the cut list coastal, clicking edit. Then we have the material C, which is the main cabinet parts, which is the 3/4 inch melamine. And then also for the drawers is where the 1/4 inch and the 1/2 inch plywood are being used. So we'll start off by using the plywood first. So I'm selecting the wording here, and just to ensure that I get everything spelled correctly without any typos, just going to do a Control-C to copy that to the Windows clipboard. Going to close out of the parts. Then I'm going to come up into the Change menu, click Edit System, then Edit CNC Machine Setup. By default, if we do not have a material list built, all materials and all different thickness materials are going to be defaulted to what we have entered in right here. So right now, everything would get nested on the 4x8 sheets of material. We want to separate this, so we have a material list button right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And currently, I only have a 0.77 plywood in my list. If we remember, I did a Control copy out of the parts cut list. I'm just going to do a right click and paste, and that just ensures that I get that name exactly the same way it is in the cut list. We now need to add material sheets for this particular type of material. So we're going to go ahead and enter in 100, and then the X and Y is going to be 60. For the priority, I'm going to have that at 0. As we build up a list of different materials, the lower value, that material is going to get used before any other material. So go ahead and click Add. That adds that to this list. Go ahead and hit Save. We now have created a different setting here. So we have 1/2 inch plywood, and we have our 7/7 plywood, which currently is not being used on this particular job. But notice on this plywood, we do have different size sheets. I have 10 of 96/48 and 5 that are 4x4. So closing our CNC settings, coming back into parts, selecting the coastal cut list, clicking Calculate. Once the parts have been finished nesting, we are presented with the sheet viewer. I'm going to go ahead into the map section here so we can see the different types of material that we have. The 3/4 melamine and the 1/4 inch melamine are still on the 4x8 sheets, but if we click on this 1/2 inch plywood, we could see that that plywood is on the 60x60 sheets of material. All of the G-code is also saved, and we could view this G-code by opening up the G-code folder. We have all sheets listed, and in the name it specifies what sheet thickness we are going to be operating with. There's the end of the 3/4. On to sheet number 9 and 10 is the 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch plywood. If we needed to make any changes to this layout, you could always click Edit in PartNester. The nesting is now opened up in PartNester. We could then view each of the sheets, make modifications, anything we want. After modifications are done, you would need to click Save Toolpaths again, and you could do that by clicking Save Toolpaths, specifying a folder name and a location, and clicking Save. More videos on this later. Hopefully that helps separate some of your materials within the PN Connect and KCD23.